Have you ever caught your child glued to a screen and wondered what exactly they're doing and who they are doing it with? You're not alone. In today's hyper-connected world, parenting has taken on a whole new level of complexity. From YouTube rabbit holes to TikTok trends and gaming chat rooms, our children are growing up in a digital jungle. That's where digital parenting comes in. It's not about banning screens or being a tech expert. It's about guiding your kids safely and wisely through their online world, just like you would in the real one. In this video, we'll explore what digital parenting really means, share real life stories, and give you practical tips to protect your child without hovering. Whether you are a tech savvy parent or feel lost in the digital noise, this video is your first step to reclaiming confidence and connection in your parenting journey. The internet is no longer just a tool, it's the world our children are growing up in. With more time spent online than ever before, kids are exposed to everything from educational content to cyberbullying, screen addiction, and dangerous online challenges. As parents, how do we keep up? Digital parenting is not about restricting technology. It's about becoming active participants in our children's digital lives. It's about knowing what they're exposed to, helping them develop healthy online habits, and guiding them to become responsible digital citizens. In this eye-opening video, we break down the essentials of digital parenting, the risks, the opportunities, and the strategies that can make all the difference. Whether you're worried about screen time, online safety, or digital well-being, this is a video every modern parent needs to watch. So, what is digital parenting? Digital parenting refers to how parents manage and guide their children's use of digital technology, such as smartphones, tablets, computers, the internet, social media, and gaming platforms. It involves setting boundaries, educating children about responsible online behavior, and protecting them from digital risks while helping them benefit from technology. Looking at the key aspects of digital parenting, we will first talk about monitoring and supervision. As parents, we need to keep an eye on our children's screen time and the content they access. Using parental control tools or monitoring apps, we will be able to keep an eye on what they are reading or watching, how often do they check this content, how appropriate is it for their age. The second point, which is setting the rules and boundaries. Establishing clear rules about when, where, and how technology can be used is essential. We need to define limits on gaming, social media, or app usage in order to maintain their wellness. The third point, which is educating them about online safety. We need to teach our children the principles of privacy, cyberbullying, and scams. So we need to encourage them on how to follow the safe sharing practices to ensure that they are protected all the time. And this point is very critical for me as a mother Because if we are giving our kids the tools and they're accessing digital platforms without our guidance, it means that we are throwing them in the sea in order to check whether they can swim and survive on their own. And this is not what parenting is all about. Before giving your child a tool, whether be it an iPad, smartphone, tablet, or a computer, you need to make sure that you sit with them, explain everything about the device, its usage, the cyber security about it, the platforms that they will access, the pros and cons. So we need to educate them and then we will allow them to use it. The fourth point, which is encouraging open communication, creating a space where kids feel comfortable discussing online experiences is the right practice for digital parenting. Your kids are being exposed to so many experiences online. They need to feel that it's safe for them to turn to you and tell you what is happening without fearing your reactions. So if they have been through a tough experience, they can communicate and they can talk to you. So you both have the benefits and dangers of the digital world exchanged. The fifth one, which is modeling good behavior. As parents, it's a must that we demonstrate healthy tech habits ourselves, like balancing screen time and the face to face interactions. If our children are looking at us and we are so indulged in the devices that we are carrying, then they will just do the same. You need to listen to them. You need to show them that you put your devices aside and you are dedicating your time, focus, and energy for them. They need to see you reading a book. They need to see you practicing a hobby, walking, going to the gym without your devices. So by then they can copy what you are doing and they can have a balanced life. Last but not least, which is staying informed, keeping up with the latest apps, games, trends, and potential online threats will help you to understand what is currently in place and what your kids are being exposed to. So we have to understand how different platforms work and what risks they may pose. Digital parenting is less about control and more about guidance, helping kids grow into responsible digital citizens rather than addicted kids for the social media and the digital platforms. So, if we are looking now at the key definitions that famous scholars have said or defined the digital parenting, what would we see others have said in their up to date publications, highlighting the different aspects of this evolving concept? Let's start first with the study published in 2020, where Benedetto and Ingresia they define digital parenting as a reference to parental efforts and practices to comprehending, supporting, and regulating children's activities in digital environments. This definition emphasizes the multifaceted role of parents in understanding, guiding, and overseeing their children's digital interaction. So it's about guidance rather than about restrictions. It's about supporting rather than preventing. the children from accessing the digital platforms and social media. The second definition, which was published in 2018 by three scholars, defining digital parenting as a popular yet polysemitic concept that refers both to how parents are increasingly engaged in regulating their children's relationships with digital media and how parents themselves incorporate digital media in their daily activities and parenting practices, and in so doing, develop emergent forms of parenting. This definition highlights the dual role of parents as both regulators of their children's media use and active participants in the digital world themselves. One thing that we have to keep in mind as parents that our children are high tech human beings and they have an advancement over us since they were born having those digital tools existing in hand. So they are more able to access platforms which we struggle sometimes to understand all its dimensions. So you need to make sure that while you are regulating the children's media usage, you are actively engaging yourself in the digital world in order to understand its dimensions and usage to guide your kids. I know so many parents when I ask them about the Snapchat, when asking them about the TikTok, when asking them about Instagram, they just say, we don't have an account. If you don't have an account, but your child does, how are you seeing what your child is doing? You need to make sure that you are on those platforms and you are able to see what your child is posting, liking, commenting. So by then you understand the developmental stage of your child to guide and support. Moving forward, for a study which was published as early as 2013 by Yurdakul and his colleagues, saying that digital parents act according to the needs of the digital age. So can use digital tools as much as necessary, are aware of the digital opportunities and risks, and protect their children against the risks in such environments. They behave respectfully in virtual environments as in real life and convey this to their children and open to technological developments. I keep stressing on the importance of staying up to date. Like 2 years back, we were not looking at AI tools as we are looking at them right now. So, parental guidance 2 years back did not involve the AI tools, but now it does. So, you need to make sure that you're up to date with what is being in place. So by then, you remain to be the role model of your child in the virtual environments, same as you are in real life. Demonstrate the good practices of posting, commenting, sharing your personal information, your pictures, your photos, your videos, because your children are going to look at it and do what they have seen you doing it. So, this perspective underscores the importance of parents being proactive, informed, and respectful in their digital interactions, thus setting a positive example for their children. Moving forward to a study which was recently posted by Kavitha and Sikander, saying that digital parenting refers to a process adopted by parents to monitor and regulate the activities of their young ones in handling digital devices. So the main aim of this style is to protect their children from various online dangers. This definition focuses on the protective aspect of digital parenting, emphasizing the need for monitoring and regulating to safeguard children from online risks. We should not wait until our children are cyberbullied. We have to make sure that they are very well informed and aware of all the risks out there, so by then they can take the right decision at the right time rather than wait for the problem to occur in order to resolve it. Another recent study said digital parenting is the efforts of parents to reduce potential risks and enhance opportunities for their children in the digital environment. This definition presents digital parenting as a balanced approach aiming to mitigate risks while maximizing the benefits of digital engagement for children. Keep in mind one thing: if we deprive our children from their right to access the digital tools, then they will just be behind their colleagues and their peers who have the same age group, but they have an advantage over them, which is mastering the usage of digital platforms. So we should not prevent them from access it. We should teach them how to access it and make the best out of it. Moving now to talk about the safe usage of digital tools and trying to just speak briefly about the 10 top advices that a parent can give his child regarding digital tools and their safe usage. The first and most important advice is to think before you share. We're talking about the safe usage. We have to make sure that we teach our children not to post or share personal information, photos, or messages that they would, would not want others to see, like their teachers, their friends, or their future employers. Because nowadays we all know that the HR teams, they're checking our digital profile before taking decisions about hiring. We have to make sure that our children they understand that once it's online it can be there forever. The second advice, which is protecting the personal information. We need to help our children understand why they should never share their passwords or personal information with anyone except themselves or their parents. Keeping passwords, addresses, and phone numbers private is essential to prevent any kind of cyberbullying. They need to understand that if their password is shared, then those people can use their accounts. They can send messages on their behalf. They can write comments under their names. They can send emails, and it can go beyond that. So, again, part of your digital parenting is to make sure that you explain those extensively for your child so they understand its importance. The third one, which is using strong passwords and keeping them secret. Encourage your children to use long and unique passwords with a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. I have heard it from so many parents saying, no, he can put a simple password because he's still a kid, while his password as a parent should be sophisticated and complex. I'm I'm not sure about whether this is correct or not because your account security is as important as your child account security. So a good password is like a toothbrush. Do not share it and change it regularly is not good. They have to understand why strong passwords are important. How do you structure your own passwords, and they can do the same. The fourth advice, which is being kind online. You need to remind them that cyberbullying is real and harmful, and that kindness matters online just as much as offline. They have to understand that even when we're talking about the virtual world, we need to treat others how we wish that they treat us. Because if they will write harsh comments, very strict or hard to understand jokes for their friends, this can be misinterpreted and it will just fire back on them. So they need to understand the importance of kindness online. The fifth advice, which is not talking to strangers online. Explain that online friends should only be people they know in real life. If someone makes them uncomfortable, they should tell you immediately, because not everyone is who they say they are. As we all know, some people online, they claim different genders, they claim uh, an incorrect age just to get to certain vulnerable age group of children. So make sure to explain it to them, to share with them from your experience, or even to use some videos, and you have plenty on YouTube, in order to demonstrate to them this idea and to protect them from living that experience. The sixth advice, which is tell a trusted adult if something feels wrong. As parents, we have to create a safe space for our children to talk about uncomfortable experiences, whether it's cyberbullying, inappropriate content, or anything else. And this advice applies to all parents all over the globe, because the large majority of parents, they believe that the school should create that trusted adult for the child to report any issue that they are exposed to. It's not true, and it should not be the case, because as parents, we should be the safety zone of our children. You need to make sure to create that safe space by not throwing the blame on them, yelling at them, accusing them, or pointing a finger. So, if something online scares or confuses them, they need to come and talk to you and feel that you will be all ears, listening to support, to give advice, and to resolve it. So by then you can protect them without throwing the blame. If the child will start feeling scared, then he might start referring to those people whom you do not know online, and then the strangers can take benefit and they can abuse the child because of it. The seventh advice, which is putting a limit for screen time and organizing or setting breaks for the child. You need to help your children build habits like unplugging during mealtime, before bed, or while doing homeworks. You need to encourage physical activity and face to face interactions. The balancing of screen time with real life is an essential practice that you have first of all to model, and then your kids will do the same. If a mother is on her phone and devices throughout the day, she should not expect her children to leave the devices, because she is modeling that for them. So, as a parent, Create a routine for yourself and show your child that there is time for me to prepare meals and for me to eat. You have to do the same. To exercise, you have to do the same. To take care of the garden, and you have to do the same. To sit and talk to me while the devices are away. So, those kind of routines should be created with the child rather than lecturing the child, criticizing the child, but you are doing that yourself because this does not set an example. The eighth advice, which is being aware of scams and fake content. As a parent, you have to teach your child how to spot fake websites, the phishing messages, or misleading ads, and you have to encourage them not to click on suspicious links or downloads because this might cause some damage for their own accounts. So, here I keep saying this all the time. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So the child should understand that if there is any kind of pricing link popping up, some rewards which are unexpected, then this is where viruses are coming to their devices. This is where fake content is popping up just for commercial purposes, and you have to keep an eye to protect them. Sit with your child, show them those things yourself, so by then, when they see it on their own, they know how to behave correctly. The ninth advice, which is understand the impact of your digital footprint. As a parent, talk with your child about how online actions like posts and comments can be seen by others and may have future consequences. So, if you write a comment about depression, this gives an indication about your psychological status. If you write a post about uh, parenting, then this might be understood as a relationship crack in the wall between you and your parents, so on and so forth. So what you do online can follow you for a long time, whether from your neighbors, from your relatives, from your school and classmates, or from your workmates on the long run. Last advice to talk about, which is use tech for good. As we mentioned at the beginning, technology is part of our presence and it will definitely be part of our future. We cannot ignore it, we cannot um, prevent it, and we cannot restrict it. But what we can do, we can use it effectively for our best. So we need to encourage our children to explore educational apps, the positive social media movements, or creative platforms like coding, writing, or art. We have to tell them that using digital tools can be very effective if it is for learning, for creating, or for coming up with innovative ideas. Because when we use digital tools, we can really make a huge difference in what we are doing as students, as parents, or as workers on the long run. Since we said that AI now is part of our presence, then we will just briefly speak about some of the advices that parents can give their child regarding AI tools and its safe usage. Starting with understanding what AI is and what it isn't. AI tools can sound real or seem intelligent, but they don't think or feel. So, as a parent, you need to help your child understand that AI does not know things like a person does. AI generates responses based on patterns in data. AI is smart, but it's not human. The second advice, always double check information from AI. Teach them that AI can make mistakes or give outdated or biased information. Encourage them to verify important facts from trusted sources. Even today, when we write a certain prompt on ChatGPT, it gives you a message. You have to check the information because there might be things that are not true. So, not everything AI says is true and should be taken for granted. The third advice about AI, which is not sharing the personal info. AI chats and tools should never be given sensitive information, especially since it's not always clear how that data is stored or used. So they need to keep their name, address, school, and passwords private. The fifth advice, which is using AI as a helper, not a replacement. Encourage your children to use AI for ideas, learning, or improving their work, not to cheat on assignments or avoid thinking critically. Let AI help you think, not think for you. If students nowadays are using the AI all the time to complete their assignments at home, and as a parent you see that happening, you need to stop it because when they are doing assessments, they don't have AI to do the answers for them. They have to think for themselves. And as we all know, if they are not trained to think, then they will not be able to complete their examinations and do good in their assessments. Being aware of AI bias and fairness. As a parent, explain that AI tools can reflect biases from the data they are trained on. Teach them to think critically about what AI tells them, especially in areas like race, gender, or stereotypes. AI does not always treat everyone fairly because we have to remember that AI is man made. So we do not know who is that man who fed AI with the information, their ideologies, their kind of thinking, and whether we subscribe to what they believe or not. Respect copyright and creativity. If children use AI to generate images, music, or writing, we need to help them understand issues around plagiarism and ownership. Teach them to give credit and use tools ethically. Just because AI made it does not mean it's yours, and we have to make sure that our children understand it because we are hearing and reading a lot of stories of people losing their jobs because AI is doing their work, and when they are caught using ChatGPT or AI tools to generate responses, to generate their own piece of work, then they are being fired. We have read a lot about lawyers who lost their jobs because of that, journalists who have lost their jobs because of that, even teachers and assessment creators. So you have to make sure that when you generate something from the AI, you put your human touch on it, you validate it, and you not claim that it is your work, because If you put a certain prompt on ChatGPT and someone else on the other side of the world will put that same prompt, you will both get the same response. So it's not your work, it's the AI work, but you have to customize it, you have to adjust it, edit it in order to make sure that there is the sense of ownership in what you are doing. The eighth advice, which is avoid overusage and dependency. Encourage your children to solve problems, write essays, or create art on their own first. Then use AI as a second opinion or helper rather than being totally dependent on AI to do all the thinking. We can get ideas from AI. I remember at my times we used to go sit on the floor in the library and search for hours in books to get ideas and to try to be inspired by what others said or did or what they couldn't manage to achieve. So by then we see how we can solve that and make better achievements. Now we have the privilege of using the AI tools. We can write prompts and get inspired, but don't do it at the beginning when you want to create a certain outcome. Try to do that on your own, then use the AI in order to see whether they are giving you an alternative solution, writing the essay in a different way, creating a piece of art in a different manner, and then you can be inspired to integrate both together. Model that for your child, teach them the importance of being all the time unique in their thinking, in their products, in the way they model things. So it is their work rather than it's a work generated by a tool and they are claiming ownership over it. Talk to a parent or teacher before using the new AI tools that we are hearing about every day. Some tools collect data. Some tools they show inappropriate content or are not meant for kids. So we have to tell our children that once they hear about any new AI tool, they need to make sure they know what are the boundaries and the dimensions of that tool. So by then they can understand if there are any harmful consequences before they can use it and make reference to it. Last but not least, be kind and ethical when using AI. Just like online behavior, AI use should follow values like honesty, respect, and kindness. Don't use AI to bully. Don't use AI to mislead others. Use AI in ways that help, not hurt. Last but not least, stay curious and keep learning. Encourage your children to ask questions about how AI is made, how it works, and how it affects the society. Curiosity helps build both technical skills and digital wisdom. AI is powerful, so learn how it works, not just how to use it. Let's move now to talk about the top 10 strategies of guidance that you need to focus on when you are trying to help your child rather than exert pressure on your child regarding the digital tools. So today's generation of children and teens often values independence, freedom of experience, and being understood. That does not mean you are unapproachable or disrespectful. It just means parents need to adapt their communication style to connect more effectively with their children. So, as a parent, when you approach your child, don't exert pressure, especially when dealing with a strong willed or stubborn child. So, the first advice we give here is lead with curiosity, not judgment. Instead of correcting or questioning them immediately, ask open ended questions. Show genuine interest in their thoughts and choices. So, ask them a question like, help me understand how you're feeling, rather than, I noticed that you're not feeling well. Second strategy, which is use empathy first and then instruction later. Before offering advice or correcting behavior, validate their feelings. Empathy opens the door to cooperation. Use a prompt such as, that sounds tough. I get why you're upset. Could you explain it more to me? And then the child will be more open to speak. The third advice, offer choices, not ultimatums. Giving children a sense of control makes them more likely to cooperate. They're less resistant when they feel involved in the decision. So try to ask questions such as, would you rather do your homework now with me, or you would like to use an AI to support you and guide? Would you like to come and have a break with me to prepare dinner? Or you would like to finish your game and then have your dinner time with us? So by then the child can feel that I have the choice. I'm not being all the time commanded to do what my parents are liking me to do. Because if you put yourself in their shoes, sometimes you are busy with your devices, posting something on YouTube or TikTok, chatting with your friends, and you don't want someone to cut you off in the middle. So they have the right also to finish what they have, and then they can do whatever you are proposing as a second task. This takes us to number four, which is pick the right moment. Avoid serious talks when emotions are high. Timing matters. So respect the space and energy levels of your children. Try to use phrases such as, now might not be the best time to talk. Let's wait until we're both calm in order to discuss this matter. The fifth one, be a safe space, not just a rule enforcer. If they fear your reaction as a parent, they will hide massive things from you. You need to build trust by staying calm even when they mess up things. So you need to use prompts such as, you can always tell me anything without fear of punishment. Because what you are being exposed to, I have been exposed to as well. Create that safety. So by then, the child can come to you before going to his teacher, can come to you before going to his friend, can come to you without going for a relative or a stranger who might mislead them and create bigger harm instead of making a corrective action. Moving forward, which is critical, regarding the modeling of the behavior you want to see in them. As a parent, you need to demonstrate respect, patience, and openness in your own behavior. Your children will mirror your tone and approach over time. So say things like, I know what you are going through because I have went through it myself. Let me show you how I write comments for my friends. Let me show you why I like or I don't like a video. They learn more from what you do than what you say. The seventh one, avoid power struggles. They often create distance. If it turns into a battle of wills, nobody wins. You need to stay focused on the relationship, not control. You don't need to win the conversation. You just need to get into the conversation with your child and try to minimize the gap, to come to a common understanding, to agree with them, even if you don't agree 100%. But you then leave the topic and come to it another day and make more progress until you reach where you want to reach. The eighth advice, which is use positive reinforcement. Acknowledge growth, good decisions, and efforts. Encouragement motivates your child more than criticism. You need to use sentences such as, I noticed how you handled that. I'm proud of you. Even if they didn't take the best decision to block a fraud or to stop a certain scammer, but make sure to appraise them. So by then they gain more confidence in themselves when they are using the digital tools. The ninth advice, which is listen more than you talk. Resist the urge to lecture. Just listen without interpreting or immediately offering solutions. When you listen to your child, you will start understanding their thinking process and their level of understanding. So by then, you can take a better decision about the next steps in guiding and supporting. If you don't listen, and you keep lecturing and giving suggestions and giving solutions, then your child will never open up for you. And you will never be able to understand what is his level of thinking. Keep in mind, they are more able in the usage of the digital tools and AI than we are. Last but not least, be consistent but flexible. Children need structure but not rigidity. Show that rules come from care, not control, and adapt them as they grow. Stand by your values as a parent, but be willing to adapt your methods based on the latest trends in life. We should not blame schools, teachers, counselors, and the community if our children are becoming stubborn and so addicted to their devices and to their gamings and to their strange friends whom they have developed and started becoming attached to online. We should blame ourselves for not paying attention at the importance of listening to our children, creating space for them to talk, building the trust, modeling the best behavior in front of them, and picking the right moments to come and check where they are in their online journey. Make sure that you connect before you correct, because when children feel connected and respected by their parents, they are much more likely to listen, cooperate, and grow. If we as parents are addicted to our social media and watching reels over Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and we are on our devices all the time, then our children will be addicted as well, if not more. Make sure that you model the right behavior and you give time to the digital parenting. So by then you connect with your child before you start correcting them and making progress in how they have the life balance needed. Before we end this video, I would like just to shed the light on the conceptual framework of digital parenting. So, the concept of digital parenting emerged in response to the growing integration of digital technologies, especially the internet, smartphones, and social media, into everyday family life. While no single person or organization can claim to have invented the concept, it evolved as a sociocultural and academic response to the changing nature of childhood parenting and media usage. So, the historical context started in the late 1990s and early 2000s as the internet became more accessible and digital devices began entering households. Parents and educators started noticing children being exposed to unfiltered online content, online strangers, and excessive screen time. Early concerns focused on internet safety, cyberbullying, and exposure to inappropriate material. As we evolved, as children's digital engagement expanded beyond desktops to smartphones, tablets, and social media, parenting strategies had to adapt. Around 2010, the term digital parenting started gaining traction in academic literature, parenting resources, and media discourse. Organizations began shaping the public understanding of digital parenting practices. Looking at this table for the parents who would like to educate themselves further about digital parenting, we can see the core concepts of the digital parenting frameworks, which combines the media studies, child development, psychology, and parenting researches to talk about the mediation strategies dimension, digital literacy dimension, risk versus opportunity, child autonomy, communication culture, and modeling behavior. Moving forward, we will talk in brief about the theoretical framework for digital parenting. The theoretical framework for digital parenting draws from multiple fields, primarily media studies, developmental psychology, family system theories, and communication theory. Since digital parenting is a relatively new interdisciplinary concept, its framework combines and adapts several pre existing theories to understand how parents mediate and influence their children's digital experience. Starting from the parental mediation theory, which originally came from the media and communication studies, focusing on parents' control, influence, and engage with their children's media usage. The second one, which is the ecological system theory, which originates from the developmental psychology, and it focuses on a child's development and how it is influenced by the interaction within a layered system of environment. The third theory, which is the family support systems theory. The family systems theory, it originates from psychology and family therapy. It focuses on families that are independent and that have changes in one part which affects the whole family system and how they cope with in light of the digital tools. The theory of planned behavior, the PB as well, which originate from the social psychology by Ajzen in 1991, and it focuses on behavior and how it is shaped by the attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived the theoretical control and its attitudes towards the technology, harmful or helpful, the norms, how other parents or society expect the child to behave in social media norms, and other uh, building confidence perspectives in light of the digital tools. Lastly, we will talk about the digital resilience and digital literacy frameworks, which focuses on building children's ability to handle online challenges and use technology responsively. As the long days of summer draw near, children find themselves with more free time and more opportunities to explore the digital world. With school out and schedules more relaxed, screens often become a central part of our daily routine. It's during this season that digital parenting becomes not just important but essential. Kids may wander the vast online space out of curiosity, boredom, or the need for connection, and without guidance, they can stumble into risky territories. Being present, knowing what apps they're using, who they're talking to, and how they're feeling is a quiet but powerful way to show love even in the digital age. So, at the end of this video, I just need to emphasize the importance of your role as a digital parent in the life of your child. Start conversations during the summer break, set boundaries, not just to protect, but to teach and to empower. Your involvement today helps your child build the awareness and resilience they'll need for every summer and every season of their lives.